A few weeks ago, as of this writing, the anticipated Bionicle fan game Masks of Power had production terminated by LEGO. This would have been understandable and justified, except Bionicle's effectively a dead franchise. The last attempt at a reboot was almost 10 years ago. Generation 1, the part of the story from which Masks of Power derives, ended in 2010. This situation has got me thinking about copyright, IP law, and how transformative works can and should be litigated in this modern age of the internet. Bionicle as a property has thrived off of fan works and related content since the end of the original generation. There was a fan film made in Minecraft, a few fan songs, contests to add to the canon lore, and even a reworking of the canceled Quest of the Toa game. Masks of Power was set to be the apotheosis of this fan content, taking the same characters and setting from the original run and putting them in an open world setting grown from the Unreal Engine. LEGO up until now has done the bare minimum by not pressing charges, but something changed. Masks of Power was the most searched for Bionicle game on Steam, and LEGO, fearing they would lose money off the game's popularity, pulled the plug. This seems suspicious and has me thinking. Either LEGO will use Bionicle one day and want to enforce the trademark, or they're worried about losing money. Either way raises interesting legal consequences. Yes, we all know fan projects do break intellectual property laws by their mere existence. Fan fiction is illegal, fan art is illegal. By this definition, even cosplay could be considered illegal, since it is a representation of a copyrighted character. Fair use is a clause to provide exemptions for reviewer satire, but most fanfiction is not satire. This has been reviewed in court to strike down the unauthorized sequel to Catcher in the Rye. Still, because the internet is open to all, fan projects have not been stopped. Many of these are non-profit, such as on the website Archive of Our Own, but many do take direct donations to stay afloat. Corporations, most of the time, do not find it worthwhile to sue these projects, either because they're not losing money or because it would be bad PR to sue someone who could not afford a lawyer. When a project makes too much money, garners too much attention, they have to do something. When the My Little Pony fan game Fighting Is Magic got taken down, My Little Pony was at the height of its popularity. The game was making so much money and promoting violence in a non-violent franchise, so it made sense for Hasbro to legislate this. Bionicle's a different case. Aside from a few bonus cameos and anniversary sets for collectors, there has been nothing Bionicle related from LEGO. No story content has come out since Gen 2 ended, and they do not seem to be making any more now. This is to say nothing of other story-driven projects like Exoforce, Dino Attack, Power Miners, or Hidden Side, all of which went under long ago. So if LEGO is not marketing these products anymore, what's the harm in making fan works? What is important to distinguish here is the difference between copyright and trademark. Copyright refers to the creative works themselves, as in the physical copies, which are distributed based on who owns the rights, hence the term. Trademarks are related to sales and who gets to use the names and brandings of the property for merchandise. Fictional characters count as a product. While copyright has a set expiration date, currently 95 years or life plus 70 in the US, trademarks are use it or lose it. Even if a work is public domain, the trademarks around certain versions of a character can muddy the waters of legal usage. See Mickey Mouse. Bionicle and all of its names, settings, and iconography are still under LEGO's trademarks. This is why the Tahu gift with purchase set was made, to show they were still using the trademark and nobody else could. If they lose the trademark, the whole franchise becomes fair game. A notable example of a modern character who fell out of trademark is Blinx the Time Sweeper, an attempt at a platformer mascot for Xbox. While the games and the game engine themselves are still under copyright, one could, in theory, make a game using the name Blinx the Time Sweeper and the likeness of this character and not face any legal consequences. LEGO is not Microsoft. They are fighting to preserve their trademarks. So what was LEGO planning with this takedown? They did cite a non-compete clause and that this was stealing the revenue for a Bionicle game, but was this because they were going to make a game themselves? Or are we just going to have another company sit on their IP and do nothing with it in the vain hopes that there is still money to be had from nostalgia? LEGO had better be planning something good with Bionicle for this move to make sense. I would justify this move if LEGO were planning on doing anything at all with the brand and using the trademarks they're just sitting on. They do not keep dishing out expensive bonus sets every once in a while, they will run out. So no point in holding Bionicle for ransom. What was this all for? Well, I believe companies and creators should have the rights to their work. There is an outlet for fan content. Some fanfic writers and artists have gone on to successful careers in their field, so it is a good starting point for them. I think it is absurd that the earliest a Bionicle fan game can be made is 2096, so LEGO needs to be aware how there is a fan base for this story and people who would be willing to take it off their hands if they're not interested in more Bionicle. I would happily purchase an official Bionicle game if they made one, but massive power was the next best thing. What LEGO needs to do is either relinquish some control of properties they're not using or make something the fans will definitely pay money for to increase revenue. So in short, use it or lose it.